This is my realm. This is my rule. I brought peace to this land. But change is coming. And now, I'm more powerful than they could ever imagine. As the chaos rises, they try to challenge me. Gone are the heroes of the past. None who remain can oppose me. This is my realm. This is my rule.
My name is Colby Young. I am the creator of For the King. I am a co-founder of Iron Games, and I'm currently the lead designer. I started working on this game. I called it the Black Gate. It was just this board game I was making. It was based off of Ultima. It's created by Richard Garriott, so he's kind of one of my game design heroes. I just became obsessed with it, and I worked on it like day and night, and yeah, and eventually it just turned into like this really fun thing. I was sharing with people online, like in the Ultima community, and they were really excited about it.
My name is Gordon Moran, and I'm a co-founder and art director here at Iron Games. Well, it was Colby's brainchild, and he had started by making the board game version, blended the two aspects of both those genres into something. So we've taken aspects from traditional board games, and we've taken aspects from more sort of old school JRPG style our video games, and yeah, combine them into For the King.
My name's Sterling Anderson. I've known Colby and Gord quite a long time. I moved to Vancouver in 2009. I met Gord pretty much straight away because of Colby, because I went to high school with Colby. So I've known Colby going back 20 years plus. I have a couple early first experiences with For the King. I would say the very first one is when it started as an idea. It was a board game at Colby's house. So one day, Gord and I are over there, we're playing this board game. We didn't know it was For the King, but it was For the King. And we put 8 hours into this board game until the wee hours of the night, and then I got stuck on an island with the boat deed. Those guys were on a different island. Game over. 8 hours. That was the introduction to For the King before it was For the King.
I'm Mike. I'm a developer for Iron Oak Games. I do a lot of development focused on gameplay, dungeons, multiplayer, and whatever other mechanics that we need to jump on and make the game more fully featured and fun. How I found For the King was my D&D groups just were so inconsistent as one would experience, and I really wanted to scratch that itch, and I ended up stumbling upon the early access for the King. Kind of went through that way. It was a little rough at first, but I fell in love with the game, and I started playing, and I've been playing ever since.
I would describe For the King 2 to a new player by saying it's a turn-based RPG. It is a strategy game. There's lots of resource management. For the King 2 actually features more of like mission campaigns as opposed to the first game, so it's got a kind of a longer narrative to it. And yeah, it can be enjoyed by hardcore players to casual players. We've had people who play with their kids, and the kids are completely engaged with it, to people who play single player by themselves and really enjoy like the number side of the game, and yeah, like the whole min-maxing aspect of it. So two completely different spectrums, and they enjoy it equally for different reasons.
I'm J. Nicholas Havelman. Everybody calls me J. Nick, and I'm a developer here at Iron Oak Games. I started with them very early in their first project. Basically, as soon as they went live with version 1 out of early access. At its core, it is just a tabletop game. It is a complete digital board game with all the conveniences of the digitalness that a video game can bring, but the classicness of that adventure style tiles and dice rolls and cards and colors and unknown things that happen to you at any given time. I think it speaks to tabletop gamers in that way. Building FTK 2 was never about finding one new major thing, because I think FTK 1 has a unique formula, and It's a very strong formula that even to this day, people haven't managed to copy that well. FTK2 to me is just adding a little bit of flair on everything that's there. Just cranking up the formula just a little bit with a little extra flavor here and there. The larger maps, the more proceduralism in the maps, the more variation in the adventures you're gonna get. Obviously the new graphic style and art style adds so much more flavor to look at.
The new art style allows us to put a little bit more detail and life into the world, whereas the low poly aesthetic of For the King 1, you couldn't really get that level of detail with it, but now we're able to explore a little bit more detail and sort of bring that life. And the ocean and the water environments are looking really great. We're using some new tools there to make our water really shine. Dropstone Badlands is the one that's returning from FTK1 with the lava fields and volcanoes. That's going to look pretty spiffy. But in reality, they're all looking really cool. We're all really happy with how they're looking.
Yeah, For the King 2 actually takes a little bit of a closer look at Fahrul. You'll find that it's almost like you've taken the lens and you've zoomed in slightly, so now you can get to know the characters a little bit better. You can get to know the biomes a little bit more. We've added things like roads and stuff, which you never would have seen before, and the world just feels a little bit more rich. We've added a lot of new fun biomes. There's a lot of familiar ones too, so you're going to be seeing the Guardian Forest and all that, but new places that you've never experienced either. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
One of the few critiques we had on For the King 1 was that when you sat down in the adventure, you were there for the long haul. And if you're there, it could be a long adventure. It could be 10 hours, 12 hours. It's a really long playthrough. So in For the King 2, we still have a really long adventure, but we've broken it down into more of an adventure campaign style. And you still have this really long, detailed story to get through in the land of Fahrul, but you can do it at your own pace in your own time now, and you can break it down into bite-sized chunks, or you can play these really long sessions with your friends.
Some of the big changes, like the tactical style of combat that we're going to with a grid, that's a big improvement. That's a big change.
So yeah, the battle grid in For the King 2 is quite a versatile system. For the King 1 players are quite used to the 3-character 1-2-3 system. In the battle grid, you're going to have a new sense of movement. You're going to be able to move around burning areas. You're going to be able to poison areas and push people into them. The sense of movement really plays into the gameplay. It gives you new strategies to set up. It gives you new situations to get out of. It really expands the world of For the King in terms of its combat, and I think fans are going to be quite excited on what new features we're going to use the battle grid system for.
One of the new mechanics that we're adding to For the King 2 is mercenaries and followers. Mercenaries is really cool. Works like you would think like a mercenary. You walk into town, walk into that dusty saloon, you find a guy saddled up to the bar, you pay him some money, and he's going to go out on your adventure with you. We have a whole bunch of different classes that you can hire. They're going to have different perks, different abilities, so that way you can kind of mix and match your play style with your mercenary to your party, and more importantly to the adventure that you're on.
Mercenaries and pets are a new addition to the game. It's one of the new features that we're really excited about, and what's neat about it is you can now change the dynamics of your party mid-game by hiring, say, an archer or a magic user. You can fill in gaps where your strategies may be falling a little bit short. So if you need to tackle a really difficult dungeon, you might want to bring in some extra firepower and go hire a powerful mercenary in town. He can help you kind of overcome a few obstacles for the cost of gold, of course. The pets are also really fun. You can find encounters in the wild, and using slot rolls and everything, the reward of an encounter can be that you've befriended a wolf or a spider or an eagle or something like that. So they're a little bit squishier, so maybe they won't last the entire campaign, but it's just kind of a fun element that kind of adds to the whole story of the adventure, and they can aid you in combat a little bit, and yeah, so it's pretty fun.
So I think fans are going to love some of the new features like mercs, where you can take a wolf companion, or you can go hire a buddy at a tavern and go dungeon crawling with them, or even jump on a land boat and go for a nice cruise along the lands of Fahrul. I think land boats really adds to that sense of movement. I think, in For the King 1, boat travel was so integral to having to get from place to place, especially if there's a body of water in your way. Now, the land of Fahrul is so large that you're going to need to get around a lot faster, a lot quicker, and with a lot more friends. And that kind of brings us to having 4 players that you can all jump in the land boat with. And we'll find times where we're jumping out of the land boat having to deal with like a naughty goblin, or sometimes we'll just want to go and grab the nearest loot.
I love playing For the King with my friends because you get to share in this seemingly simple adventure that always goes off the rails. And it speaks to me in the same way that playing D&D does. And I know they're wildly different mechanically, but that emotional feeling you get from what's going to happen, oh my god, we screwed up, or the rush of needing to finish something on time or deal with your resources, it's all the same, right? And sharing that with other friends is really the best part about it.
The way we describe co-op on For the King is hilarious misfortune. And that's exactly what makes it fun to play with your friends. It's great as a single player game as well, but with a group of friends, it really sort of harkens to that traditional tabletop experience that you might have with a bunch of people sitting around a table, laughing at their misfortunes as well as your own misfortunes, and it makes some of the defeats easier to handle, and the victories sweeter as well. So everything's better with friends.
Valiant adventurers once fought to bring peace to the realm of Fahrul and avenge a murdered king. But now, a new peril threatens its people. The once peaceful and benevolent queen has turned against her subjects, casting Fahrul into darkness and despair. The resistance is rising, and the fight for freedom has begun. Adventurers will travel far and wide to prevail. Victories will be hard fought, requiring strategy, strength, and courage. New alliances must be forged to bolster our ranks. The fate of Fahrul lies in the hands of the resistance. The time to act is now. Will you join us, adventurer?
Blooming Business Casino is a tycoon like no other because it focuses on telling you stories every time you play. There is not a single playthrough that is going to tell you everything you need to know about the characters or about how they might interact or the things that might happen in your casino.
A casino offers a lot of management challenges for players because you need to retain clients inside your premises and make them happy. They need to play the casino games, but they also need to be rested, entertained, they need to have a drink, so you have to take into consideration all those needs so that they spend all their monies inside the casino. It really takes inspiration from this era of Las Vegas in the 50s, 60s, where it was really a prosperous business. So you will have to make deals with specific characters and you will have to attract specific client types to specialize your casino. So there are a lot of management implications and challenges that you will have to face to cater to specific client types and their unique needs. They all have distinct tastes and looks and feels, and so you will have to make it your own and grow from a small business to a really huge company.
The inspiration for Blooming Business Casino came from the games we grew up playing. So those are the old Bullfrog games. They had a fun approach to tycoons because they couldn't really simulate everything. Now the new wave of tycoons that has been coming out in the last few years, they are more economical focus, and that's where you're going to really optimize your whole operation. And we're trying to marry those two trends.
We wanted to build a management game because we love that type of game, but in a setting that is different from what we've already experienced.
And then Las Vegas, it comes from the fact that it's just a very colorful place. A lot of things happen there, and it's in our brains all the time because of all the movies and the books and the series that happen there. And so we are not trying to simulate casinos per se, as much as we're trying to really emulate that idea of casinos that everybody has.
Everything is here to bring the player a pleasant experience with a vintage kind of look, which is very bright and feels very cozy.
When you imagine a casino, you imagine a lot of things happening, different type of characters, celebrities, singers, political persons, and so on. And so you can imagine that it will involve a lot of narrative events, and that's basically what we offer with this game. So we leverage the casino setting and all the cultural references, and we also leverage all the fantasy behind it with the narrative twist of the game. Here you have all animals, and they are cute, but they are also very spirited, and you need to manage them and handle their needs. When we thought about the animals, we are also taking into consideration what players like. So obviously everybody likes birds, so that's why we've added birds. But we also ask our community what they want in terms of animal species. And we've initiated different polls in the past where we asked them which type of species they would like between, for example, a fox or like a small panda, things like that. Because it's animal, we tend to be really engaged and we want to participate and have our favorite one in the game. For example, my favorites are all the birds in the game, and the birds in the game are all the employees.
Just not to create animals, but to create also characters for the animals. It's really important for us to actually bring depth to the characters.
Our VIPs, our pit bosses, our clients, our employees, they all have quirks and stories to tell if you let them. Some stories we already wrote, and some stories you will witness by yourself when you're playing the game, because our systems will just spawn interesting interaction between agents. We built the whole game with our players in mind, like everybody else. But where we go further is that we're giving you not only the keys to the truck. You can play the game however you want, of course, but you will be able to give us your insights on our game, and we will try, to the best of our ability, to make everybody happy. And then, if you are not happy with what we're doing, just take our tools and change the game just how you want.
It's a very key feature for us to present to the player, and we will be very eager to see what player will do with it.
When we had a lot of improvement with the game development, we organized playtests where voluntary players can try early version of the game, and we collect their feedback on all that we've been working on recently.
Casino is paramount to us. We have a Discord server where anybody can come in and subscribe to playtests and then their opinion. So we always build upon what people feel about our game when they've played it.
Homo Ludens is a French indie game studio and we are quite a small team. We are 20 of us.
And we try to respect everyone in the value chain of video games.
What's been great working with this team is that the fact that we are quite small, and so it's really easy to talk to all the teams.
We currently have less than 50% males in our company, and we're very proud of that because it's very rare in the industry. But it's our objective to go further on those subjects than others, so that the rest of the industry, and namely the bigger studios, don't have any more excuses.
We really respect everyone in the studio, what they do.
We tried from the start to build a very inclusive and diverse team where we really engage with a local association, so Women in Game, Afro Gamers, to make sure that in all the aspects of the development of the game and the marketing aspect as well, we speak to all type of players. So that's really something we have in mind when we develop the game, but also when we talk about the game.
Everyone wants the game to be a success, of course, and that's what we hope for Bloom Business Casino. But there is a way of valuing success. Of course, if the game sells tons of copies, we'll be really happy. But we'll be even happier if people have fun with the game, if they laugh in front of their screens, or if they have new stories that they can tell to their loved ones or the people close to them, even if those people have not played the game. It's something that I think is lacking in video game, where when you are really excited about the game, if the person has never played the game, it's hard to connect with them and to tell stories. And that's why we are trying to bring narrative back into Tycoon, so that the people who play Tycoons can share the crazy stories that happen in those games with the people they love.
We really hope to offer a nice place to spend time, and I think we have all the ingredients to make players wanting to spend relaxing time with the game. You can join our community Discord and play directly with us and help us improve the game.
Please consider adding Blooming Business Casino to your Steam wishlist. It helps us a lot.
Bloomin' Business Casino. Don't delay. Add to your wish list today.
Since days beyond recall, adventurers have roamed these lands. But within each story lies a hidden tale. For the heroes of this tale are those who have suffered the most. Goblins. And now, they fight back. Their journey requires strength, wit, and skill. Expand their lair and grow their numbers. The road is long and the world vast. But do not despair, for a great power will guide them. The time of the goblins has finally come.
We've always had a deep love for turn-based strategy. Goblin Stone has many unique contributions to the genre that makes it stand out while still delivering the familiar feel players enjoy when playing turn-based strategy games.
I'm Daniel, level designer and scripter for Orc-Chop Games. What makes this game unique for me is the level of quality it has, given that our team is relatively small. It's the kind of game one would feel proud working on. It's also rare for local studios here in the Philippines to ship a wholly home-gained IP, and that makes me proud. My hope for the game is not only for players to have fun, but also to resonate with the characters on a sentimental level, so that they may find Goblin Stone a memorable classic. We hope the story of Goblin Stone will help change how most people perceive goblins the next time they beat up on them for experience points.
I'm Ruben, the lead artist of Orc-Chop Games. I'm proud to be part of a dev team making a wonderfully fun game in the turn-based strategy genre, which is my personal favorite genre. Plus base building and the hand-drawn art style, I sincerely hope that players enjoy meeting the denizens and seeing the sights in the world of Goblin Stone. Please enjoy the line art and ink hatching.
There are many turn-based RPGs out there, so creating a unique game that stands out from the crowd can be challenging. For us, we wanted to bring in a visually appealing game that is simple enough to grasp, even to the casual player, but then challenging enough to provide hours of fun.
One of the most exciting aspects of games with turn-based combat is the ability to develop your own distinct playstyle. There's an appeal to having the freedom to choose how you want your game to play out. With a variety of themes and mechanics in the game, players can devise various strategies for effectively overcoming each battle, making the game a lot more fun with each playthrough.
In Goblin Stone, you will lead a band of goblins on an adventure through a vast and cruel world where adventurers kill goblins and their friends for gold and glory. The goblins will embark on a journey to reunite monsterkind while restoring their lair and dwindling population. Goblins may appear small and weak, but they can be quite effective with the right group of skills.
We're making sure Goblin Stone is a one-of-a-kind experience for everyone, with its unique set of gameplay elements such as base building, team-based dungeon crawling, and other roguelike features that are rarely seen altogether in a turn-based game.
We've incorporated fun mechanics that contributed to the unique gameplay of Goblin Stone. The breeding mechanic is one of the game's key features, which allows you to create stronger team members. Unlike most games, your goblin heroes don't improve by leveling up. Instead, you can strengthen them by improving their equipment and abilities and breeding for the best genetic perks that suit your playstyle. Everything else is up to strategic planning. It's fully expected through the course of the game that goblins will die off in battle. but with each death comes a special resource needed to unlock secrets and powers that will contribute to your growing goblin lair.
Goblin Stone is a great game for those who love to plan their strategy well and play a game at their own pace. It's a game that keeps introducing new features to explore the further you play. The game also has a beautiful narrative, which shines a light on the perils of little goblins, who are typically depicted as insignificant menaces, often seen as nothing more than simply stepping stones for adventurers to beat up. It offers an alternate take on what life might be like on the other side of the adventurer's blade. The goblins of this story become the unexpected heroes whom you will lead on an epic journey, encountering friendly and helpful races such as orcs, gnolls, kobolds, and trolls, all fighting for the right to live.
We opted to depict the world in a multi-layered 2D format to really bring out the hand-drawn feel that one might expect from an illustrated storybook. There's a certain charm to rough inked illustrations that appeal to us, and we wanted that to come out through the game's environment.
The theme and visuals of Goblin Stone were influenced by a wide range of games. However, the Dungeons & Dragons universe of the 1980s and the various worlds of Studio Ghibli were among the constant sources of inspiration throughout design and development.
We also aimed to reinforce the game's storybook vibe with outstanding music from award-winning composer Peter McConnell, who created music for iconic games such as Grim Fandango and Hearthstone. Coupled with top-notch narration from British voice actor James Smealy, Goblin Stone's experience is truly an immersive one.
Their prayers are answered.
The remarkable thing about Goblin Stone is that it was made from Orkchop's core belief to create passion projects, because we believe that passion is what really drives the creation of the best games out there. The kind of games our studio wants to make are the ones that feel familiar, but thematically are a bit quirky, and Goblin Stone represents that well.
Hi, I'm Bryan, Community Manager at Orkchop Games. I'm excited to be part of the promising game. Goblin Stone is a kind of project I've always wanted to be involved in. It's exciting to be part of the team that builds a foundation for something that I will be around for years to come. We're excited to bring this game to market and are optimistic that players will take great pleasure in playing with it, with its rich lore, mechanics, and lovely art.
As a small indie game studio with a tight-knit team, we wanted to work with a publishing partner who can bring Goblin Stone to its full potential and value our game as much as we do. In our year-long effort to select the right publisher, Curve Games has shown the most flexibility, patience, and genuine desire to bring Goblin Stone to the world.
We're a small team here at Orkchop, and I can honestly say we have an excellent working atmosphere here at the studio. The culture at this studio is the one that I can respect, where everyone is willing to put in a lot of hard work and dedication toward what they do. Their passion and open-mindedness have contributed significantly to this game's success. Working with this small, tight-knit group has helped me discover my own potential.
I'm Keith, the QA lead on Goblin Stone. What drives my excitement about working on Goblin Stone is that I get to work alongside a great development team. It will mark a milestone in my life to see players enjoy this game I helped create. I look forward to seeing players experience the story-rich gameplay and the game's awesome art mechanics and challenges.
We're getting close to the launch of Goblin Stone this year, and we have a lot of exciting content in the works. New characters, new playable classes, more story images, more biomes, and many more improvements to the existing game mechanics. Not to mention big plans to release it on all major consoles. Believe me, we have a lot more to share with you in these upcoming months. Thank you for witnessing Goblin Stone, and we look forward to seeing you soon.